and I'm done with the cleaning. Needed to be done though, needed to do like a clothes wash, needed to put up all the washing up away and everything like that. It's just things that needed to be done. It helps my mum and dad out as well at home. I've taken my hair out of the sort of like bun that I had it in, and it's gone quite curly, but we're just gonna roll with it because it's far too hot to even attempt to straighten my hair. So I think it works well. I'm kind of looking myself in my iPad just to sort of see how it actually looks, but we're just going to roll with it. So hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought we could speak a little bit more about my dreams, because obviously this channel is obviously Daily Dreamer. I thought why not start talking about things that I've been thinking about, maybe with my life and sort of like jobs and things like that, so we can go straight into sort of like talking a little bit about that. But first of all, I just wanted to say thank you so much for all your support on the last 2 videos that have gone out. As I mentioned, I'm the 24/7 dreamer. Dreaming sort of keeps me going. Like, I like to sort of constantly have something in my mind, something maybe to work towards, even if I don't actually get to that point straight away, or say my dream then changes to something else. At least having something in my mind does obviously keep me motivated. You know, gets me out of bed. Okay, maybe I'm not at that point at the moment, but having this dream makes me want to get to that point. So how can I get from A to B, basically? So let's talk through some of the dreams that I have. Obviously, I have written them down. Gotta love a bit of stationery, gotta love a bit of notebooks, just obviously to write everything down with. So I do love it. It says dream it, believe it, achieve it. That was quite fitting with obviously what my channel's going to be called. So I've written down some of my sort of like career dreams and lifestyle dreams, and we'll just talk through it a little bit together. So the first one that I want to talk to you about is I've thought about being a wedding planner. I don't know if that's just sparked up because I'm engaged, I'm thinking about my own wedding. It might have even been a little bit before that, because everything about weddings seems to excite me. I do love the sort of preparation for it. Obviously the big day itself, like say you get invited to a wedding, obviously you don't always get to see like the backside of things, like what they've done to prepare themselves, but I like that sort of preparation side of things. What invitations are we going to use? What colour themes are we going to have? What kind of dress is the bride going to have? You know, what are the groomsmen's going to wear? And the groom himself, what's he kind of nervous for, and things like that. Those sort of things I quite like and do think about. So being a wedding planner, you have to be really hands-on in somebody's big day or a couple's big day, and I think that would really suit me. What I mean by that is that I'm such a people person. I feel like it would suit my personality, because I love that sort of like customer face sort of like interaction. So if they are thinking of something and I think, oh, it's not quite right, maybe you should go for this, like I'm not afraid to do that. And as you say, being part of somebody's big day like a wedding is just amazing. I feel like it would be such an amazing feeling, and feel like it also has a fun side to it as well, in sort of like helping them out, and at the end of it being like, you know, I helped them with that. It's a real big achievement. So that's something that has been sort of like on my mind. It's sort of like kind of faded a little bit now. I'm trying to be a little bit realistic on what I want to do sort of like going forward at this moment, but who knows, it could be something that I potentially pick up when I'm a little bit older. The next one was sort of owning my own business in terms of selling clothing, accessories, shoes, things like that. So I don't really know where this has sort of like come about, and the reason I say that is because I'm not very good at art. I actually hated the subject back in school. Like, I never took it because I could never draw. You know, my mum can draw, my sister's quite good at drawing because she took art, and don't get me started on my uncle. Like, he is amazing. He can just have an idea in his head and just like bring it to a piece of paper or a screen. He's actually using his iPad at the moment, his iPad Pro, to sort of like draw his designs out, and they look amazing. He's actually got an Instagram account where he's posting all of like his designs and pictures and things. So what I'll do is I'll link his Instagram down below, give him a follow, check out his pictures, you know, give them a like, because they are seriously amazing. Like, just having those ideas in your head and sort of like them to then be creative, it's amazing. I would love to do things like that, because obviously when you're going to sell your own sort of like designs, you know, you have to then sort of like draw them up, and I just can't do that. I have all these ideas in my head, but actually producing them I'd never be able to do unless you sort of hired somebody to do that for you. And then you have to sort of think about, well, should I do it on my own, or should I actually have a team of people to help me do that, and sort of like we do it together. And then it's sort of like, well, no, I kind of wanted it to just be for myself, but then it's like, how can you do that without the sort of like drawing aspect of it? And then it's thinking it's not actually as easy as you think to sort of like set your own business up. Like, these people that have their own sort of like company, even if they're selling on like Etsy or eBay, or they have got a little website, you know, hats off to them, like, really, because they do an amazing job. But all these things sort of like, it does play on my mind, because I do love the sort of like working with targets and working on deadlines, having sort of like money to sort of work towards. So it is something that does excite me. So I can sort of see where the dream has sort of sparked from, but I just sort of I feel like it's not maybe something very realistic. Again, it could be something that I potentially do maybe on the side. If I do obviously have a career somewhere else, I could do it sort of like potentially on the side. Maybe not now, maybe in the future. We'll say we'll see what comes. So the next thing that I've thought about is being a teacher. Now, when I was younger, I even thought about this because I used to sort of line up all my toys on my bed. I used to have this lovely whiteboard, all like the coloured pens and everything like that, and I used to pretend to be the teacher. It was great fun, and obviously when you're a kid, you don't think that you're obviously going to grow up to be that exactly. But as I did grow up, sort of like during school time, so during like maybe the end of primary school, going into like secondary school, I did think, okay, I do actually think I could be a teacher. Maybe teach in secondary school, or maybe do primary school teaching, so maybe do sort of maths, because that's something that I did quite enjoy, or maybe drama or music, because those subjects I quite liked as well. You might as well go into a profession or a subject that you can enjoy and that you can be obviously happy in. But then I thought, being a teacher, you have to go to university, and I didn't think uni was for me. Like, even now to this day, I don't think university is for me. I know there's loads of like those open universities that you can do and sort of like be at home. It wasn't even the fact of like going somewhere. I mean, I would have missed my family like quite a lot, because I don't think I could have like been away from my family that long at that time, obviously leaving school. But I know there is things that you could do now to get back into that side of education, but teaching has sort of like taken a back burner again in the back of my mind, so I don't really want to pursue that anymore. It was an amazing sort of like dream at the time, and I thought, you can make a good career out of it. You can obviously work your way up, or work at a school for a very long time, so it can be like a long lasting career. But it's sort of like faded again, like some of the other dreams. As I said, my dreams are sometimes changing, so it's nice to obviously have different ideas, but sometimes you've got to think of things that maybe aren't really going to happen. But that's what happens, you just sort of like pluck these dreams out of thin air sometimes. You don't even mean to dream about them, they just pop into your head. So teaching was one of them. The next one I wrote down, I don't think this is something that I am going to do, but I'll speak to you obviously about it, because this is something that obviously I did my college course in, and that was singing. So I'm not saying I've become a famous pop star, but singing did interest me. I loved music at school, and when I was leaving school, obviously trying to pick what I was going to do. So as I mentioned, I wasn't going to go to university, but I wanted to go to college. I wanted to do music, and it was the technology side as well. It wasn't just singing or being on stage, it was learning, how is music sort of created, how they use certain softwares, how the music is then distributed, putting on live shows, so live events, learning about, the wiring and everything like that. And it's never really sort of like taken me anywhere. Like after my sort of like couple of years at college, I did find it a little bit more of a hobby. So it's still something that I'd love to do. Like, I love music. Like, even editing my YouTube videos, I'm using software where you have to sort of like put the sounds in certain places and obviously move the media. Maybe I should have even done media. I mean, there was one time where we had to sort of like make our own music videos and that, and sort of like take a camera around, and then we'd put our music behind it, and that would obviously help with my YouTube. Now I could spend ages sort of editing these vlogs if I had like that time just to sort of sit down and just do it. Obviously, when you're working at the same time, it obviously will be harder. And I will mention that at the end about sort of like what's going on with me and sort of like jobs, because I did mention in my introduction sort of video that jobs weren't really going well for me at the moment, but I will mention at the end. So stay tuned to the end of this video and I'll give you a little update on that. But yeah, singing is something that does still interest me. Again, it's all of these sort of dreams, I haven't obviously like done anything about them yet. I'm just letting you know sort of like what I have sort of like been thinking about in the last sort of like couple of years or so. And the last thing, this one is actually, I feel, the most realistic, and I'm hoping this will obviously happen one day. I'm not saying it will happen straight away, but I'm hoping that it does obviously happen. I do want to work at the Warner Bros. Studio tour, the making of Harry Potter in Watford, so I would love to work there. I've been there a few times. They're constantly developing it, obviously, for the new films that are coming out, like such as like Fantastic Beasts. So they are still obviously using the Warner Bros. Studio tours for the Harry Potter sort of franchise. Obviously, they're using it for other sort of like films as well in the sort of like Warner Brothers industry. But with the making of Harry Potter, you could be sort of like an interactor or a visitor host, where you obviously help people with their experience, and you show them a really good time when they get to the tour, and obviously you tell them things about the Harry Potter films and the sort of making of it, obviously to give them the best experience. So I would love doing that. Speaking about something that I absolutely love, I am a little bit of a geek about it, but I don't care. Like, it's my favourite franchise, I do love it, and it's somewhere that I feel feel like I would really fit in. Having that people interaction, or as I said, like customer interaction, where I obviously speak to them face to face and tell them things about obviously Harry Potter, and just being a friendly face of the brand and of the company. I feel like I could really do that, and obviously, you know, it's somewhere that I could be happy with. So that's somewhere that I am hoping one day that I could possibly work and maybe make a career out of it, but it's not happened just yet, but I'm really hopeful for that one. So that's one of my dreams that I feel like I could work really well in. So that's everything about the sort of like career side of my dreams that I wanted to talk to you guys about. I'm just going to go for a little break now. Me and my sister are going to go out to town. We're going to have a look at some of the clothes and see if there's any sort of like summery clothes that we still want to buy. So what I'll do is I'll film a little bit while we're out and I can show you, and then I can continue with the next part of the video that I want to sort of like talk to you about. Jumpsuit, just a plain black one, so I don't have one. It was only £5, so I thought why not, my sister just getting a couple of dresses. Do you think peacocks is worth a look in? Yeah, could do. Yeah. Do you want to? It's the road.
And then we can go up to New Look.
Yeah, I love
and
New
then
Look.
Down to Sainsbury's.
So off to Peacocks we go. Always love a good sale, and up to 70% off.
Reduced to £6.
That's a nice top. This one, only £8. Next stop, New Look. See what they've got in today. Hopefully they might have a sale as well. Oh yeah, 70% off, a bit like Peacocks. Oh, I love that leopard print. I'm going to move on to sort of like my lifestyle dreams, tell you what I've been dreaming about, sort of like not just career wise but sort of in my life and where I feel like my life will take me. So the next sort of like, it's a dream but more of like my ambition and something that I really need to sort of like get under my belt, is driving. I never learnt to drive when I was working in Stratford, so I used to get a couple of trains there. It wasn't that very long at all, but just getting the trains, it was very easy. I could have done it if I put my mind to it a little bit more, but at the time I wasn't really sort of like interested. Now I feel really stupid because like I had the money at the time, or I had, you know, enough money to put aside for the sort of like driving lessons. So I wish I sort of like got into it, but obviously they say hindsight is a wonderful thing, as they say. Can't dwell on that now. I never did it, so now what I've just got to do is focus on doing it now. Once you have that driving, it gives you the freedom that you need. It helps you a lot with obviously wherever you need to go. It's a lot quicker instead of having to wait for buses or trains and that. This one is very self-explanatory. It's just earn money. I just want to focus now on sort of like earning as much money as I can. I want to save some money, things that obviously will help me and Terry in the future. I also want to earn money obviously to pay my way with my mum and dad when things didn't go very well with my job. Money has been sort of a struggle currently at the moment, so I have had to sort of like rely on my mum and dad a little bit more than I would hope. So my main goal is just to sort of like focus on job, focus on earning money and being able to do the things that I want without being held back or without having that worry of I need to ask my mum and dad. Talking about sort of like earning money for like future for me and Terry, we really want our own place, and that's something that I really want to put money aside for, our own place or flat or house. I think about things like are we going to rent, are we going to take out a mortgage? It's now time to become adults, unfortunately, and sort of think about all these things. It's the time to be an adult, have the responsibility, and obviously think about things of what is going to help your future. We have been together 4 years. We do obviously want to get married in the next sort of like couple of years, and we do want to have children one day. That's another thing that I do sometimes think about. It would be lovely. I feel like we would be amazing parents. We would want to earn more money or be happy in a stable sort of career, job, financial status, just so we know that we can give the child the best life that we possibly can and that we're not struggling as well. Children, house, that sort of thing. That's obviously something that a lot of people think about once they've got into a relationship, or if they know their relationship is going at a really good pace. You do start thinking about what's next for both yourself and your partner. And it's just money, you know, making sure that you have enough money under your belt to be able to do all these things. But if you have a level head and you have your dreams in place and you have a good positive outlook on life, then hopefully you can earn enough money to be able to do all these things that I would want to do. So as I mentioned before, obviously stick around to the end of this video. I will sort of like update you about my sort of like job and what's sort of going on with me at the moment. So I can now say to you that I have got myself a job now, and I will be working sort of like the beginning of September, and I can't wait. You know, it's doing retail, so I'm getting myself back into something that I know that I'm going to love and that I'm used to. It sort of happened all sort of like all jumbled, and I was very stressed for a very long time because I went for a load of interviews, put applications out, and I didn't really hear a lot back for some applications that I put in, and the interviews that I did get, I wasn't hearing back from sort of like anyone, and then I was hearing back from people all at once, and I didn't really get a chance to sort of like think about what one I wanted to go for, because you don't want to turn down one and then you don't hear back from the other one that you're hopeful for, and then if you do, you have to sort of like turn down the other one and all of those sort of things. So that was sort of playing on my mind, but I have now got myself a job. It is, well, as I said, working in retail. I'm hoping that's going to be the start of me sort of like getting back into earning money, getting back into retail, progressing myself maybe career wise, and then earning money will help me to drive. Then I can go anywhere there. Obviously if it's in, you know, driving distance, then I'll be able to do it. So yeah, that was everything that I wanted to talk to you about in this video, about my dreams and everything like that. I hope you've enjoyed it. Stay tuned, and obviously keep looking on my social media for when all the videos and that will be out. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!